What is going on, YouTube? Welcome, War of Division fans. This is your global original, Nash Taters. So today we're going to be doing our weekly Friday night stream, and I feel like this week and essentially the last few weeks have been pretty rough, right? I mean, let's be honest, there's not a lot of content to cover. And honestly, I think my little one he keeps getting into something. Like the last 2 days, he actually developed some runs again. So I had to essentially reverse my sleeping schedule. I stayed up with him while my fiance was sleeping to make sure that he was okay, you know. And so essentially the last 2 days I've been just sleeping all day. And it sucks because I don't work for a while and I didn't really want to reverse my schedule, but you know, it is what it is, right? You can't, there's certain things you got to do, right? You have duties, you have responsibilities. It is kind of weird that when I'm looking at Nivlu, she has a really terrible design because her arm keeps going through her dress, something like that. So, but anyways, all right, so let's get it going here. Tomorrow is gonna be a big day for War of Division fans because we are doing a live stream, right? They're doing a live stream on YouTube. They're gonna be revealing some information for us in terms of what we're gonna be expecting to see for the 1 year anniversary. So let me go ahead and fix this. So Thursday, I was gonna make a video, but I decided it would be much fitting to probably release it tomorrow, or at least just record it tomorrow because it's gonna be right before the stream. So it made more sense. So Thursday, I was gonna do a video, but I didn't, so I'm probably gonna do one tomorrow. If my puppy is feeling good, then I think I should be able to do it. And then Sunday, I'll probably do a sort of reaction video to hopefully the stream, right? Because if I do one Saturday night, it'll be too late. Eastern Standard Time at 9 p.m. is when the thing. Free stuff. What's going on, son? I'm looking forward to the free stuff only. Yes and no, because all right, so one of the discords that I'm in right now, I mean, clearly I'm in communications with Diggs and whoever the other content creator is going to be joining forces together. Tentatively, I'm going to be participating in one of the segments in which I don't want to review anything because I don't know if everything was falling into place. Last time I heard, it still hasn't been fully confirmed, the full schedule. So I don't want to review anything. But then again, I haven't been in Discord for a couple of days. So tomorrow I'll probably jump in and see where Diggs is at with all that. I think our stream is set for the 26th, if I remember correctly. So that's a few days, right? So my concern really is there are some other folks who want to. Hey Shu, how you doing? So my concern is there are some other folks who wants to have a collaborative summon session, in which case we'll probably be recording through Discord and then just have people open up their side of their screen to show to us when they're summoning for Yuna. Now personally, I'm honestly still not sure if I want to summon for Yuna. So that's kind of where I stand. I don't know if she's really worth the effort, because here's how I'm looking at it, right? This is how I look at things. You don't need to have every healer in the game. And that's the truth. You don't need to have every healer in the game. You don't need to have every fighter in the game. You don't need to have every tank in the game. Although I like to have all the tanks in the game. That's me. I like to have tanks because I like tanks. So for me, I'm not really sure if I want to open up the wallet to summon for Yuna, because Yuna is a great unit. Hey Jose, how you doing? Like, Yuna is a great Yuna, right? It's probably arguably the best healer in the game when she graces global server with her presence. But the problem is like, when you have healers, it's ultimately about making sure the rest of the team survives. Like, she is essentially designed to be a healer. Like, her AI is healer mentality, right? That's what it is. She is it. If we get Yuna and instead we get Lara Croft. Actually, that was my supposedly Friday Free Thinking topic today. Like, the video I wanted to present today was on a kind of like a trying to knock it out of the park type of scenario. But I decided I couldn't do it because I slept all day, right? I stayed up all night. I stayed up till like 9 in the morning. And when you stay up that late and you don't want to, your brain is just not functioning. But the good news is my puppy is like, seemed like he only has like these episodes. Like, it's not like a constant thing. Like 3 weeks ago when he had the runs, it was constant. It was gross. So we gave him some antibiotics and I think that kind of cured it up. But I don't know, like, I think he gets into something. Like, he likes to eat grass and it's so annoying because I can't stop it. And you know, like with grass, there's gonna be like nasty stuff in there, right? Because there's other dogs in the neighborhood. You never know what he probably got himself into. And I think his intestinal system is just not that great. But so what was I saying? So what I'm saying is this, right? Like, if you want the best healer in the game, essentially the best healer is supposed to do healing and support, and that's essentially what she does. Her AI, that's all she does. Like, she heals, she reses, she doesn't think about anything else. It's kind of like how Ayaka is, right? But with skill turn on and off, you can actually get them to go on the offensive. And I don't know too much about Yuna. Like, I know she exists, I know what she's capable of doing, but I don't dive into the specifics of her because she's not on global, so there's no reason for me to look her up or anything, right? It's like, I'm one of those guys that I don't like to look up information if it doesn't pertain to what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I don't need to do that right now. You know what I mean? Like, when she comes out, I still can't review her because chances are I don't have her. So here's how it's working. Like, this is how it's working, right? Right now, we don't really know where global server is going in terms of direction, in terms of how they're going to implement EX and all that other stuff. And the reason I say all this is because the content has been very, very thin lately, right? Very short. And so for me, I didn't feel like making more stuff unnecessarily. I could have covered other games. I think that would have been a good route. But for me, like, I realized I have to wait till next week. Once next week comes through, like they review everything tomorrow night, then my plans of laying out my schedule for what I want to do for the server, or excuse me, for the channel in terms of where the visions is going to be like. I do have things planned out, okay? I'm not going to lie. Everything's been planned out. I have ideas, I have things that's drawn up and things like that. So I just didn't feel like preemptively releasing things. For example, talking about like what unit we should be potentially thinking about building for EX25 now makes no sense, right? Because we don't know what the lineup is going to be. We don't know what the schedule is going to be. Is it going to be the same as JP? Is it going to be, are they going to be squeezing in more limited units so we can build those to EX first, etc., right? You never know. And I think that's kind of the great thing as a content cover creator or whatever for global, because you don't know, right? You kind of like sort of can have educated guesses, but you just don't know. Hey Nash, I asked again 2 months after I have 80k gems, can I max Yuna? What do you think? Wow, Pablo. First off, I had no issues reading what you just wrote. 80k gems, like I said before to everyone and anyone, unless you're willing to spend some money perhaps, you're not gonna guarantee anything, right? Like, I hate to be that guy to say this, but I think we have to be realistic. You may get her literally right on the first pull. Hey Zen, no, we just started, Zen, we just started. Pablo, you may get Yuna literally on the first pull, or you may never get her on your 100th pull, right? And on top of it, she is gonna be EX25, right? So we're looking at 1,000 shards. So 1,000 shards is gonna be a lot, right? I don't. She's not a cost 100 unit, so that's a good thing, right? That's the great news. But here's the other news. Bear in mind, Yuna is awesome on her own, but Yuna only hits her ceiling if you had the Bahamut card, right? The Bahamut card is a essentially cost 100 card, and when you have a cost 100 card, it's going to be half the percentage of summoning. So in order to pair her to have the best stuff, you need the Bahamut card, and then you need Yuna. So right there, that's RNG for you. I don't know if you're going to be able to max her. I can't comment on that because I don't know. Because I don't know what your luck is like, right, Pablo? So I hope you get her. I really hope you do. In fact, anyone who's trying to summon for Yuna, I hope you guys get it. Because I'm not the type of guy that gets all upset if I'm fighting Yuna constantly in Arena. Because many of you guys know I don't really care about Arena all that much. I do it just to kind of go through the motions every week to get the free gems and things like that. So for me, it's not really a big deal. I don't get salty when I watch other people summon. I don't really get angry if people got stuff that I don't have, because that's what life is, right? Every single day, we're essentially looking out our windows and we're seeing people having things that we don't have, right? You go online, you look at people, you watch TV, you look at people, you watch news, you look at people. People have stuff you don't have. And if you're going to be the type of person that gets envious of other people, then you know what? Hey, that's endless. It's never going to end. Because even if you got something that you envious of someone else having and you got that thing finally, something else is around the corner, right? Just like this game, right? Every other week they give us new units, or every other week they give us new vision cards or equipment or whatever, new events, things to spend your money on. And it's never ending, and that's just how it is. I personally hope you get him or her. I hope you get her. I think she's gonna be excellent at level 99. But if you have the opportunity to get her to level 120, I will highly suggest you do so. Hey Sheldon, how you doing? Welcome. So that's my thing, right? I hope you get her. She's gonna be really good for a very long time, I feel like. And I think in the Alchemist Code, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's essentially the game Gumi created, which War of the Visions is laying graphics over on top of, right? Gumi and Square Enix makes War of the Visions, but Gumi did Alchemist Code on their own, if I'm not mistaken. So all the coding and all the combat system and everything, whatever, it's all off of the Alchemist Code. And one thing I learned about the Alchemist Code, recently having went back to take a look at the tier lists and things like that, a lot of the characters, a lot of the units, they fell off the map over time. But what we're seeing with War of the Vision is Square is getting smarter. They're recycling the characters, right? For example, let's take a look real quick. I was actually going to post this video tomorrow talking about what unit I'm personally going to take to level 120 first. Hopefully I'll get to do that tomorrow and release it before the 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time video or streaming. I know, Jose, I'll be honest, like a lot of people look at it from that perspective. They like the idea of watching other people pull and hope for them that they get their stuff, you know? You kind of like live through what they're doing through what you want to do. And me, I used to do that all the time because I never spent money really on gacha games, mobile games. I think the only time I did spend was on like a few games, and I spent like not very much. But watching those whales and those krakens spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on these games, you just kind of watch the motions, what they're doing, right? Sometimes it's great, right? Because they have good luck, and sometimes they have terrible luck. You see like literally people flush hundreds and hundreds of dollars down the drain. You know, it is what it is. Some people can afford it, some people can't. And it's just how life is, right? Life is unfair, and sometimes that's what it is. Happy Friday to you, Adam. Welcome. So here's how I'm looking at it, right? Check this out, right? Stern was considered to be pretty powerful when he came out. I like to call him a legacy unit because he came out with the first wave of units when the game was introduced on Global. He is actually one of the better units when it comes to EX25 because he gets like power boost, he hits harder, etc., etc. But you know, like he is a little bit harder to play with because Soldier is his main job. A lot of times he sacrifices himself in terms of damage to himself to gain more power to hit others harder. And he's very squishy. You know, he dies usually in one shot if you land the hit successfully. And so he's one of those glass cannon types of units, right? And he's not going to be very good in many situations, but in a lot of situations, he's going to be very good. He deals enough damage that kind of help you through things. Is he worthy of building? I think in a lot of people's minds, absolutely he's worth building because he's dark slash unit. He's very useful in many raids and harder content in which you need to do chains and things like that. But he was, believe it or not, okay, first off, he was the first UR unit I ever got, right? First UR unit. And I was following people on YouTube and following the websites and things like that, how he should be like my main attacker. And then for some reason, I stopped building him as other units came up. I think my second unit that I actually wanted to level up, believe it or not, was Yerma. Like, she was my favorite unit because at the time I was watching Vikings, the television show, and she's the only Viking unit, you know. And so I decided to build her, and I dumped almost all my resources into her. And turns out she was pretty good, but then she kind of started falling off as well, right? And that's how the game is. Like, units do fall off, and they are great. They are great in many situations, namely PvE, right? But they do fall off against newer units. Newer units just gonna have newer skills that can potentially overshadow a lot of the older units. But with the EX25 rolling around, we get the opportunity to level them up again, and we get the opportunity to see them kind of jump over that gap that they were being lagged behind. But bear in mind, since everything is done in a circle, the companies are doing everything in a circle, right? There's a huge potential, like units like, say, the newer ones, right? For example, let's say KR Stern. Clearly, when KR Stern gets the treatment, he's gonna be insanely good, I'm thinking, unless they nerf him somehow, right? But he's gonna be insanely good, and he's probably gonna overlap everyone else once again. So as you can see, it kind of goes everything in circle. So that's the beauty of the game, right? If you're a beginning player and you decided to build Stern, the regular Stern, instead of KR Stern because you don't have KR Stern, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Even though I keep emphasizing in this game, resources are limited and you should spend it wisely, contemplate about spending it. But there's no really wrong things to do in this game. You can't go wrong in a game, right? Like, people always say, oh yeah, your account's gonna be screwed up, you're gonna have bad play. No, that's not the truth. That's never been the truth. Any game I've ever played, right? There have been a few games where some characters, yeah, they weren't that great, but they still can get the job done. Albeit not as fast or not as, say, efficient, right? That's what meta means. Meta is most efficient tactics available. That's what it stands for. It's an acronym, META, meta. So maybe some units are not meta, and I can understand that. But at the same time, does it really make much of a difference if you, say, decided to build Gafgarion instead of, say, KR Stern, and you can still get the job done? Maybe it takes a little bit harder time for you to do strategically, but nevertheless, you get the job done. Is this still rewarding for you? One can even argue that it's more rewarding, right? It's more rewarding because you didn't rely on cookie cutter units that simply just got the job done. But that's just my philosophy, right? I know that philosophy doesn't apply to everyone. It doesn't apply to everyone. And that's the truth. Some people like to have all the powerful units in the game, so they make their journey through the game that much easier. And there's no really way to debate against that, because why wouldn't you do the easier route? However, the downside to that philosophy is it most likely will cost you some money, right? Not everybody can afford it, or not everybody wants to spend money. And that's a philosophy that you shouldn't argue against, right? You should never argue against someone not wanting to spend money, because that's a terrible argument, and because it's pointless. That's just the way people look at things. People prioritize things differently in life, and we shouldn't ask people to spend money if they don't want to or they can't. And that's just how it is. But long story short, tomorrow I'm gonna hopefully do just a short video, not a very long video, and just to kind of show you guys the unit I'm looking forward to building first. Even though, technically speaking, that following evening, we're gonna find out what units we can take to level 120. Now, I know some people are actually contemplating a couple of units here that are worthy of taking, and I think the first one is, a lot of people are talking about this unit, is Rob, right? Rob is very deliciously good because he has a Trust Master that is actually quite synergistic with a lot of units in this game. And the Keen Blade essentially raises slash attack and CT of allies within area around sail for 3 turns. This thing is very damn powerful. Like, it's very good. Like, there's so many good slash units, right? Dwayne slash, KOR Stern is slash, Halloween Ryu is actually slash. So this armor equipped on your team can really kind of make you do a lot of damage. And on top of it, the fact that it increases your CT gauge, right? That's pretty good because it makes your units move faster. So personally, I think this is one of the better Trust Masters in the game. And you can't really go wrong with Rob, even though, again, he's kind of like Stern. He's a glass cannon, so he's not going to be super sexy in how I play the game, which is usually going with bruisers. So like I said, I'm not going to review the unit I'm most likely building first. And I think a lot of people can already kind of guess which unit I'm going for first, simply because it's probably the easiest. But, you know, that's me. We'll make a short video of that. So that's tomorrow's agenda. And then Sunday, I'll most likely do a reaction video to what's going on Saturday night stream, right? Hopefully I'll get up early on Sunday and get it done and get it going. So therefore, okay, by the way, just so people know, I usually take Saturdays and Sundays off. I started doing that routine months ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, simply because I am doing this part-time. This is not my full-time job. I want people to understand this is not my full-time job. So I'm not fully dedicating every waking hour to try to create something for this channel. Even though I love this game, I love YouTube, I love creating things, I love talking. And I think treating as a part-time job gives me that flexibility to kind of do what I need to do in terms of taking certain days off. But my plan was to Monday through Friday and then Saturday, Sunday off, right? And that's my guess, or excuse me, that's my routine. So, and the way I look at it is, since I took Saturday, or I took Thursday off, and technically speaking, today off in terms of video making, I'll go ahead and make up for it this Saturday and Sunday, simply because we know the 1 year anniversary is by far the most important thing that's occurring in this game right now. And I felt like it's okay to be a little lax in terms of content a few weeks before the big celebration, right? Which will be happening next week. And then once the celebration comes through and people are starting to get settled, then the newer content will come in from me and obviously from the other content creators. So people are guessing month. I don't know. We'll see. Oh man, I'm sorry I can't interact in today's stream, but I will listen. Have a good day, Nash, and all of you who are here. Thanks, Zen, for stopping by. Thank you always for stopping by. So yeah, so that's my plan. You know, I got a lot of stuff going on in terms of what I want to do. I do want to start doing review videos in the future, especially in units. But the caveat would be I only do units that I own. I don't want to do any units that I don't own, because there's no reason to talk about units you don't own. Right? You can talk about if they're worthy of summoning. You can talk about if they're worthy of passing, but there's no reason to review them, right? You can't look at their skills in real-time action, because if you don't own a unit, I personally feel like that was something a lot of people were having issues with when the game first came out. Like, you know, unless you're spending a lot of money, you're not gonna have the unit to do real reviews. So since we got a full crowd here, let's go ahead and do my summon. I've been having some really terrible luck, by the way, on my summon. And by the way, I decided what I'm gonna do for my 1,000 subscriber special. I decided what I'm gonna do is check all this stuff out, right? Look at this. Tickets, tickets, tickets. All these tickets, right? All these tickets. I know it doesn't look like a lot. I know it doesn't look like it's a lot, but check this out. 159. Yeah, held 10x, I'm in here. All these tickets will be blown once EX is implemented in the game, because it makes sense. Hey Koi, how you doing, buddy? And here's why. I have so many units that are already level 99. So as soon as they implement the EX, every single shard turns into those mind spheres. They call them mind spheres, right? So that makes perfect sense. This is why I've been hoarding these for a long time. I think Sakura's in there. I think KR's turn shards are in there. All those should be in there because I got actually KR's turn from my rare tickets, believe it or not. So that's what I'm gonna do for my 1,000 subscriber special. Originally, I actually wanted to give away my free-to-play account, but then I thought about it. It's like, I mean, giving that one account really not gonna make a huge impact. So what I'm gonna do is just keep it and just kind of like keep it sort of semi-dormant. Not a whole lot to even do on that account anymore, but still just keep it laying around in case something happens in the world, right? Sakura is in there. You like that, huh? Sakura is in there. They should fix the game from crashing. Jose, I think a lot of that has to do with your device on top of it, maybe perhaps memory and things like that. I noticed that things crash because of your memory are kind of getting screwed over. And the funny thing is my computer the other day crashed. All I was running was I was watching something on Hulu because I just got Hulu, and I was only playing with one account on my emulator, and for some reason it just crashed. And that doesn't really happen very often. Like, it shouldn't crash like that unless you're overloading your computer, right? Your memory gets overloaded and then it just shuts down. So I'm kind of worried. Hopefully there's nothing wrong with this computer. So anyways, that's what I'm gonna do. So obviously the 1,000 subscriber special will not come out until after the I can't talk. After the implementation of the EX25. Do look forward to that though, because I think it's gonna be very fun and interesting. Because I think people love summon videos, right? It's gonna be popular, it's gonna be enjoyable, hopefully. Alright, let's go ahead and do R10 free summon since everyone's here. We're gonna be hanging out. Hey Genesis, how you doing? Save all the vision card taken after. Yep, exactly. That's what we need to do. Just save it. Oh, yes, that's a good idea too. After Bakhmut, that's a good idea actually. Oh, look at that, folks. Streamer luck, right? Streamer luck. Oh my goodness. Am I reading this right? I got the... You know, just when I said all my luck has been used up, I have no luck. I stream tonight and then boom, this happens. So we got guaranteed 2 URs. Alright folks, is this gonna be the night that we're gonna be getting Sakura? And I'm not gonna lie, I am actually still looking for the Valentine's card. The card that was actually a Valentine's Day special on JP. The luck card. I still don't have that card. I have the MR version card. I have the MR luck card, so here we go. I really like the art on Funtime. Funtime is actually a very, very cool looking card. So Liard's supposed to be really good, I think. Was it Liard that's supposed to be good or the other archer? One of the archers actually, once they get the boost on EX, it's pretty legit actually. Here we go. Oh no. Is Leviathan. I think I already have this maxed. I'm pretty sure I have it maxed. So that was a duplicate. That's a shame. But there's nothing I can do, right? Because these are free and you have to spend these, or else they go to waste. But that's a good point. Maybe I should wait till Bahamut comes out, because obviously once you obtain the very first copy of Bahamut, then you're in. Like essentially you're in. All your healers, your magic dealers are gonna get a humongous boost. Liar indeed. Yeah, I don't think it was Yuri. Thank you, second, and welcome, buddy. Good seeing you. Here we go. So this could be Sakura. Obviously, I do not have Garble. So does that mean Garble is in here now, since Garble just left the... I should have looked. Could Garble be... If this is Garble, I will be a happy man. No, it's not. It's Skahala. Alright, never mind. All that hype and nothing. Oh, hey Pedro, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Yeah, M1, they didn't give us a step up on Bahamut or what am I saying? They didn't do it on JP. Maybe they'll do it on Global. That's what I'm hoping. If they do it on Global, for sure I would go after Bahamut, because that card is really good, along with the summons. So clearly this was a very good, very good summons. But Skahala isn't all that great, I'll be honest with you. He's one of those units that is somewhat redundant. And you know me, I like synergy, but I don't like redundancy, right? I hope all is well, Pedro. Last time I talked to you, you know, you were talking about some family issues. But it's good to see you here again. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm just gonna go through the motions here. Sorry guys, I'm just doing this because we're not gonna do our guild battle and we're gonna do some farming and we're gonna talk about something important because I wanted to do a Friday Free Thinking video standalone because I know some folks didn't like the idea that I keep putting Friday Free Thinking in my stream. So I don't want to do that. Okay, I don't want to do that today. There's no topics, but there's something I do want to talk about in terms of for the future, and I think it's important. And that's gonna have a tie-in to next week's actual Final Fantasy. I said Final Fantasy. What I really meant to say was Friday Free Thinking, because Final Fantasy is Friday Free Thinking. Friday Free Thinking is Final Fantasy Tactics. Anyways, so next week's topic is gonna be kind of quirky, kind of wacky, right? I've been brainstorming about this idea for a while now. And I'm just trying to figure out if I really want to kind of make it really quirky and using my new video editor to make it quirky. And that's what I'm thinking. I think maybe next week that's what I think. I'm thinking that's what I want to do. I do like special effects and things like that, right? But today I think we can just chat in a very casual manner. We just want to chat in a very casual manner about a topic that's a tie-in to the next week's Friday Free Thinking episode. So let me go ahead and do my guild wars and then we can get into it. Working on commissions, awesome, great. Skull can do chain element. Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. But I just feel like a lot of people don't give him credit. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not necessarily he actually sucks or redundant, but they're more like he's a heavy investment for people that perhaps already have Salir. Now, I don't want to say which one's better because I've been dinged for that, saying, oh my God. So I think I said something like around I said something like along the lines that Venera is a better version of Ketone, and people are like, oh, I stopped watching your channel because you said that. Listen, people take things too seriously. People take things, you know, to a next level when they see someone make a comment. I think Venera is a better version of Ketone. That's how I'm looking at it. It doesn't really matter if someone disagree or not agree. You know, that's fine. It's just an opinion. That's like someone saying the earth is flat, right? You can make fun of them all you want, but you're not going to tell them and you're not going to convince them otherwise, even if you show them proof. Okay, Ketone is very good in her own way with Drain Force, Evasion. Venera is very good in her own way. Evasion, doing large amount of damage, ignoring defense. No matter how you slice and dice, they're still within the same, you know, kind of like category. They're damage dealers with lots of evasive abilities. It doesn't really make any difference how they do the damage in many ways, right? Especially in PvE, it doesn't make that much of a difference. What ultimately matters is they're both DPSers. By me saying one unit is a better version of that, that's just my opinion. I would gladly choose Venera over Ketone in my personal lineup. And this is why I'm making content, because ultimately it's my opinions. Isn't that the whole point why you go to watch TV? Because you want someone else's opinion? Isn't that the whole reason why you go to YouTube and you watch someone's review on anything that you enjoy doing, whether it be movies, anime, toys, video games, right? You're looking to see what someone else's opinion is. Right or wrong, it makes no difference, because your job is to listen to other people's dialogue. That's it. This is the only reason why I do what I do here, is to create dialogue. Even if it's wacky dialogue, it's still nonetheless dialogue. But anyways, that's just me. You're like Taco Bell, Nash is Chipotle. Kind of messed up to come onto someone else's stream and then talk about your stream. It's like Taco Bell trying to sell tacos inside of Chipotle. No, it's okay, M1. Pedro's been been supporting me for a very long time, and he's not a self-promoter by any means. I'm okay with all that, guys. You guys can not make a big deal out of that. By the way, I have no issues with that. If you guys come here and you want to self-promote, I'm okay with that, because I'm not gonna lie, I know how it is to start from the beginning. In fact, I even tried the tactics myself where I just go on to other people's stuff and make comments, because you know, end of the day, it's not like I'm saying things like, oh my god, my stream schedule is this, or my video is this. I don't do that. Like, I see people do that, but what I do is I do try to expose myself. Oh my goodness, I hope somebody didn't just take that and turn that into a meme. I try to give myself exposure in terms of content by going to, say, someone who is more established, right? For example, like, say, at the time, I think it was like Cabbage Diggs. If you go onto their channels and you make a comment and people click on your name, there's a possibility that they may look at your channel as well. And I don't have a problem with that. And here's the thing, right? We're a part of a community. Content creators should be part of a community, just like we're all part of the War of Vision community. There's no reason to hate. There's no reason to shun someone else. I think I like to promote everyone here, because I think some people are really good at talking about certain topics while other people are not. So I think it makes more sense to kind of promote that. If someone's good at something, why wouldn't we want that for us, you know? Because knowledge is power. And now you know, and knowing's half the battle. Alright, so we got a lot of leeway here. We're clearly winning by a bit, but I believe this is an Asian. It is, that's Korean, right? So chances are these people are probably not even awake. So that's why they're not attacking. They still got 44. So I do have some leeways, but looks like we're doing a pretty good job of cleaning them up. Oh, nice. Good defense, Cassius. So here's the thing, right? Lately, I've been just attacking these two members because I just don't have a lot of confidence in my team anymore. Like, I keep getting slaughtered in Guild Wars. It's like no matter what team I choose, for some reason, a lot of times they just smoke me. Like yesterday, for example. Not yesterday, the day before. I attacked this team. They had Sakura. They had... it was 3 magic dealers. Now, I know this stage gives them extra magic attack, but it doesn't change the fact that I decided to deck my entire team to, I believe, missiles. No. What am I saying? Magic. So I'm giving my entire team magic resistance, right? And I got smoked. I didn't even kill one of their units. And it's so hard for me to grasp this concept of how I can get completely steamrolled. Okay, I have all these maxed. Everything is maxed. So what that essentially means is everything I have is maxed. Everything they have is maxed. They cannot be more maxed than me, other than perhaps their statues, right? If they have statues that's better than me, that's only by a couple of %. There's no way I should be completely dominating. And there have been matches where I'm just completely dominating. And that's something I don't quite understand at all. Like, I don't get it. How is it that, let's say this guy spends 5 grand, I spend, say, 500. It doesn't change the fact that there's still only 3 members with everything maxed. I have everything maxed. How the hell am I getting steamrolled? You know what I mean? Like, how am I getting steamrolled, folks? I don't get that. How are you tonight? Hey, John, how you doing? Actually, your name looks French. So it looks French, right? John Sebastian Fleury. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, that's why I'm very hesitant to attack a team and then get steamrolled on stream, because that makes me look like a jackass. It really does. It makes me look like a jackass. But the thing is, I've never had magic teams. I never had issues fighting magical teams. But then again, to be fair, I think Pedro makes a good point. I didn't do any mock battles this time around. And since I didn't do any mock battles, I don't know what like the proper things is. Ah, it's from Quebec. Okay, well, I mean, I'm close enough, right? Like, it's still French. Although some people like to say it's Canadian French, which I don't know what the difference is, to be honest. By the way, one of my friends, his parents are from Canada, and they're Canadian French. I remember there were times where I used to speak French to them. Poorly, may I add. I'm not very good at it, but... So I'm definitely geared towards magical team, right? This guy, I'm sure, is decked. Because you could tell, 128. That's pretty well-ish. But only 2,851. So that could be a target. And then these teams, I shouldn't have any issues beating. So here's the safe play. Safe play is I go ahead and get 4 points and get 60. So. Yeah, I agree. Maps do mess us up. Map do mess it up. They do. And sometimes like the maps creates a certain flow of skill using, right? Like if your unit is going around in a certain way, then the skills they use is different. We swear a lot more. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Wait, I think I just missed the entire conversation. Let me see. So you watching the New Year Gumi anniversary stream? Yes, second, I'm watching it tomorrow. I was thinking of doing a live on my stream, but then that doesn't make sense. Like, why would you watch a live stream of something going on someone else's stream, right? I'm pretty sure some people are probably doing that on Twitch, but I think I'm just gonna watch it on my own and then kind of react to it on Sunday. Maybe just make a short video on it. So here's what I'm gonna do. Since we are doing stream, let's go ahead and take a gamble, right? We need to gamble because that's what life is all about. So we're gonna attack this team and we're probably gonna get smoked. My guild's gonna hate me. They'll be like, why didn't you just attack the open teams like you should? If I wasn't streaming, that's what I'll be doing, to help the guild win. So it looks like their little Leela is pretty fast. I think I am gonna lose though. Oh, never mind. I killed one off the bat. That's pretty good. And then she comes back. So far I'm okay. Got the taunting blade up. Now that's gonna take the thing away. Now she's gonna kill her. Yeah, that's not too shabby. Yeah, I thought about the live reaction thing, but wow, she took a shot from my guy and didn't die. I think I could do the live reaction, but we need to take a look at what exactly are they running. Why is she like taking so little damage from my Pierce? Voila, there you go, guys. There you go, folks. We actually won. The pressure is off of me now. I feel pretty good. So I feel pretty good. Let's smile. Let's see if I can smile. My smile, by the way, is not very natural. Like it's because like the way my jawline is formed, it doesn't want to naturally want to smile. Like it's hard to smile. It's hard for me to smile. So now that the pressure is off of me for getting a win here, let's go ahead and do some cleanup work. I think we can most likely clean this guy up, right? Yeah, that Keto Fade definitely didn't do a whole lot of damage. Although, I really love that skill. Remember we talked about it where you hit everybody and it kind of pulls them in together? That one I like a lot. I'm a big fan of that card. So he's got the shield. And so that's over with. Now I know she's gonna just, yeah. So we gotta break that shield. Oh, never mind. We gotta disable. So we should be good. Unfortunately, Laswell, that one I think only does physical. It doesn't do magic. So that definitely worked in my favor. So, by the way, folks, that was by far one of the more successful guild wars I've had in a very long time. Oh yeah, the Shadow Flare on your free to play. That's a good card. I like it a lot. I like that skill actually. This actually comes quite in handy, like, because the goal is you're trying to get everybody together, so your next attack is an AoE effect that kills them all. It's a great concept, by the way. So I did get my second arithmetician ready. My Eldira is officially complete. Let's take a look at my Eldira. She is level 84, just C average. Apparently she's not passing calculus because she's just a C student. But yes, I should get these done pretty easily. Like I said, the last couple of days, I haven't even been really playing this game very much. And a lot of it is because I've been sleeping all day. Staff Mage, Sword Mage, so Howlet, Halloween Ryu. She's definitely a really solid unit. I need to get her up. That will put me at 2 water units. And then Glaciala is actually finished as well. But I'm a little hesitant in spinning my spears right now, right? Because you never know what may happen during 1 year anniversary. As you can see, my gold supply is being drained pretty badly. And well, what we need to do is we need to go to the 7 million shop and buy up all the goodies. This I feel like is not bad, right? Because you spent 99 cents, you'll get 60 pay gems. So 99 cents gives you 10 arena orbs, 30 skip tickets, 10 large restore potions. I think this is pretty good, especially if you're into arena. I think this is crazy, the fact that they're giving people this much. And it's daily. No, it's not daily. It's limited to 1. Never mind. I was gonna say, this being daily would be pretty OP, huh? You're gonna see a lot of people up there in the arena. So I got 7 of these, but I got 50 there. So today I'm gonna buy these. I think this is wonderful that they did this. This is wonderful. Let's take a look at some units that potentially I want to build. The other day, I was actually going through all the MRs, the SRs, the Rs, looking at their TMRs. The one that I really want, that I talked about months ago, was this guy. I really want this sword, okay? Alright, I'm missing conversations again, apparently. I have been farming auto. Ability on and off will could make difference. Built to hunt certain teams, yes. It'd be hilarious if Tomb Raider is the anniversary banner. Is that what people are speculated? Tomb Raider? That seems very weird. Why Tomb Raider? This is not the first time I've heard people talk about that. Why Tomb Raider? So this sword I really want to get, Sky Cutter Greatsword, because it grants doom on normal attacks. Some people actually really like to build KR Stern with 97 faith. I haven't figured out why. Like, obviously if you're doing debuffs, that's why, but this card, this sword is really, really good for the tower. But the thing is, if they make them immune to Doom, then you're screwed, right? So why is Tomb Raider be a collab for us though? Like, is Tomb Raider being done by Gumi? Like, is Gumi doing Tomb Raider games as well? Square Enix doesn't. Wait a second. Does Square Enix do Tomb Raider games? Anyways, I'm not sure about all that. I have heard about Tomb Raider, but... Well, see, the thing is, like, KOR... Like, if I was spamming the bells, that means I'm just doing damage, right? But on the tower, once you use the bell is finished. So for sustainability, I would like to have Doom. Because if I can Doom people, then it's just a cheesy way of beating a lot of the hard-hitting units. That's true, you're right. FFBE did have Tomb Raider, didn't they? Well, you know what? Square Enix did have the Doom, you're right. Wow, really? Tomb Raider, though? I don't know how I feel about that. That seems a bit weird. So, anywho, I thought about Shuzel as the thing. I do really like her a lot. And as you can see, I have already used some of my Azures. I like her quite a bit. Because the way I'm looking at it is, I'm trying to assess by elements now. I'm no longer really just looking at individuals. I'm looking at it in terms of building for the future. And I think she will fit nicely because I have a healer, damager, long distance damager, debuffer damager, and a damager. So this will make a solid team here for me. And I heard she's really good too. And then of course he's gonna be really good after EX25. So that's what I'm looking at. Okay. Let's do some farming. And then we can talk about that actually. Let's talk about collaborations. You guys are actually brought the topic up already. So this is not Friday free thinking anyways. This is just regular talk. Oh, that's right. They have the brutal now, right? Actually, I haven't done the brutal, so I don't know how hard it is. Does anybody need to actually do the sprouts of devouring EX brutal? Let me know in the chat. So here's what I'm thinking. What collaborations are we going to see in 2021? If Tomb Raider is a thing, then that kind of settles all that. But if Tomb Raider is not a thing, then what other future collaborations could they do for 2021 only? We know for a fact that Square Enix and Gumi wants to bring back a lot of the older players, right? A lot of the players who walked away. So Ella needs it. Okay, let's do that then. Do you guys have any plans? Like, what's the strategy to beating this stage? Because I haven't played on Brutal yet. That's what I was thinking second. Like, I was thinking because once my bell runs out on the tower, then I can use that TMR to kind of use him as a supporting unit to do a lot of dooms. Because I think Lorelei has the bow, crossbow, or the bow and arrow to do doom as well, right? So I can literally have an entire team of doom if that makes sense. So I'm not exactly sure how to beat this stage. So if that's the case, let me go ahead and slap this bad boy on here. Because I don't think these are designed to be hard, right? They shouldn't be. So Ellen, are you in? Ellen, are you in? Are you Red Wyvern? I hope you are one of those. I hope no collab for Katy Perry. I know, me too. I was thinking when I first saw Katy Perry in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, I was thinking, that's unique. You can't fault him for being unique at that point. I hope, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to see some old school JRPG. Like, I'm hoping to see some old school JRPG collaborations. Like, I think the idea of Chrono Trigger is essentially thrown out the window, because some people did say something about the rights to Chrono Trigger is being tossed around in Japan right now, so it'll be hard for them to kind of do that. But, you know, I hope to see, like, one of my favorite games that I used to play as a kid was okay, so I have to say in the States, right? In the United States, it was called Final Fantasy Legends. I don't know if you guys remember those games. Final Fantasy Legends games. And then there was this game called Final Fantasy Adventure. And these games were all for the original Game Boy. And I remember I used to love those games as a kid, because it was very simple, but it was very, like, entertaining and rewarding. And I remember I used to play Adventure because that was very similar to Zelda. I believe that's from, I want to say that's from Legend of Mana series, perhaps. And they just redubbed it Final Fantasy Adventure for the Game Boy. And then the Final Fantasy Legends was something else that they just redubbed it to Final Fantasy Legends in the United States. Personally, I would love to perhaps see the Legend of Mana characters come to War of Divisions, because I think there's a big fan base for Legend of Mana, right? It's one of those, that was pretty easy, guys. That was super easy. It's like one of those, it's one of those series that it's kind of like not on the map for a lot of players, but there's like probably a good following, you know? I don't know how popular it would be. So I don't think it will be the one collaboration that can bring back players into War of Divisions. I think we will definitely need something that's perhaps more powerful, more attractive. And I think Cabbage touched up on the idea that, hey, Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know, is out, and that he predicted Final Fantasy VII would be the 1-year anniversary. But since we're getting 10, which essentially means that Square Enix has been thinking about collaborations for a very long time. And I think 10 was a good fit. I think 10 was a great fit for 1-year anniversary. I actually am a strong believer in that. I honestly don't think 7 is a good fit for the 1-year anniversary. I think 7 is like the ultimate trump card, right? Believe in the heart of the cards, Yu-Gi-Oh type of thing. Where if they really want a shitload of players to come back to the game, they need to bring that as like the nuclear weapon kind of thing, right? And so I think 7 will be out in 2021. That's my thinking. because the campaign to bring back more players. The campaign to bring back more players is not going to be in the login rewards. No one's going to come back to a game for login bonuses, right? I'm not going to go back to a game if they gave me like 100 summons for free. No, because that wasn't the issue why people left the game. So I think in order for people to come back to the game, they have to address some issues perhaps, and then throw in the big bomb, like drop the bomb collaboration. Because we got 12, 5, 6. Oh, you're saying you want to see those? Yes, I would like to see 12. Like for me personally, I like 12 a lot. I think 6 is good too, but 7, like if you bring Tifa. And here's the question I have for you guys: Is Final Fantasy VII even popular in Japan? Like the thing is Final Fantasy VII even popular in Japan? Like comparatively speaking to the rest of the world. I feel like Final Fantasy VII is by far the most popular game in the Western world in terms of Final Fantasy. And I think there are more diehard fans perhaps of Final Fantasy VII than any other Final Fantasy. Like I know a lot of people like 8, right? With Squall, like that was a good fan base there. Maybe 10, Final Fantasy 10, a lot of players enjoy that. So I think 7 is by far the most popular. So I think it'd be a smart move to actually release Final Fantasy VII on global first. And I'm gonna tell you why. They do a global original Final Fantasy VII release collaboration, then release it on JP, because they need to test how much money they can make off of 7 on global first. If they did it on Japan, then everybody and their mom would know that it's coming on global, right? And if they did that and if they reversed it, then global players would not overthink. They will keep spending. Am I right? They will spend on banners before they drop the news that Final Fantasy VII is coming to global. Whereas if they did this on JP and said, oh, Final Fantasy VII is coming to JP, then players will everyone will be saving for literally months. No one will be spending at all. And then the game will be hurting. Am I right? The game will be hurting in that sense. It's kind of like the last 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure the companies are not really making a lot of money off of banners and spendings and such. You know, with content creators calling them trap banners and things like that, it's kind of like, come on. You know, they're clearly discouraging players from summoning as well. So my suggestion to them is give us 7 to bring back the global player base and release it on global first, because that will essentially guarantee global players spend a lot of money on banners prior to 7 and of course on 7 itself. And then of course JP players were going to spend regardless. JP players were going to spend, period. They don't really care too much about things other than the fact that they don't like to be fed too many, you know, cost 100 units, as clearly demonstrated a couple of months ago or a month ago. So if that's the case, then I think that's the most logical way of doing it. And I think they should probably start doing that. Kind of ping pong banners back and forth. Maybe release one on global first, and maybe release a different type of banner, like maybe say Final Fantasy 12 or Final Fantasy 6, where perhaps it was more popular in JP. Then release that on JP first, and then release it on global first. Because if you keep just releasing everything first on JP and then have global follow suit, you're going to have a lot less earnings on global, as they're already telling us. They're already telling us that global players spend less money comparatively speaking to JP players. Now, if you took the cultural aspect out of the equation, right? Take the cultural aspect out of the equation. We already know the JP players in general like to spend more money on mobile games over any other cultures in the world. So we know that they're always going to spend. So I think from a marketing strategy perspective, they need to reevaluate that concept. That's my suggestion. I personally like to see 7. I would not mind seeing 7. and that keeps the players happy. You see a bunch of Sephiroths, Tifas, Clouds running around. It definitely makes people feel more happy, I feel like, you know? And I think then at that point you can release some smaller collaborations like Legend of Mana, like maybe even go out on a limb like you guys are, like Gary's suggesting, Metal Gear or Persona, where you're stepping over to other companies and you're trying to go that route. I don't think that's a bad route either, because you know, you make less money, I think, because the collaboration between across companies, I think you make less money. What about after 7 comes out? What then? Players gonna quit? I don't think players are gonna quit. I don't think players are gonna quit after 7, to be honest, because the way we've been playing Final Fantasy Tactics in this game is that they gave us what, 3 units, 2 units each time the banner comes back. Final Fantasy 7 has literally what, 12 units, 15 units that everybody wants to have on their rosters. So essentially, the way they're already approaching this game, right? They're approaching this game in terms of trying to create less farming. And they're allowing us to buy straight up +5 equipment from the shop. They're allowing you to have skips on almost everything, with the exception of these event quests. You can't skip during the event quests. So essentially, farming is essentially being reduced to just essentially farming books, right? That's essentially what you're doing. So once they fix that issue, then this game is not really about farming anymore. It's just autoing. I think people are gonna complain about autoing, but I'm not. I would love just to let my game run on its own and I'll go do something else, right? Watch Netflix, watch Hulu, watch whatever, AMC, whatever it is that you choose to watch. Then you can just have it auto on the side. And I think at that point, then when an event comes out, something like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 12, Final Fantasy 6, then you actually engage yourself in playing the event and get engaged in those events. Because I think we all agree that Final Fantasy Tactic events they did a really good job with both the music and the story, you know, like not the story, but like the music and the setup. Like I love the fact that when I played Final Fantasy Tactics, I was fighting the very first boss from the first chapter of Final Fantasy Tactics. I thought that was an excellent touch. That made me feel really nostalgic. That made me feel really happy about where the game was going. If you did Final Fantasy 7, that's still great. And the thing is, people who have, say, Cloud, Sephiroth, Tifa, all those characters on their roster, they're not gonna, why would you walk away from the game after you played it? You will have to hate the game itself. And I feel if they fix the game itself to be less tedious to play, players wouldn't walk away. I don't feel the game is tedious. Like I log in every day and maybe 40, 30 minutes into the game, I realize there isn't a whole lot to do in this game. You know what I mean? Like, besides farming, there isn't a whole lot to do in this game. And that's unfortunate with these type of games, because we'll get to the point where there isn't a whole lot to do. So farming is unfortunately one of the only thing you do. But imagine this, right? You mentioned, Son, you mentioned that what will players do once they get 7? They would just leave. But imagine this, you play RPGs, I assume. Everyone in this room probably plays RPGs of all kinds. Am I right? So if you play RPGs, what is it that you do when you get into RPG? You farm. You farm and farm and farm. Because essentially what you're farming is, you're farming for levels. You're farming for experience. It may be like, say, MMORPGs. Then you're farming for gear. You're farming for that tiny percentage of drops, right? Game is all about farming, man. I don't know if people realize that. Even in first-person shooters, people are farming every single day. When you're playing Street Fighter games nowadays, people are farming rank. When you're playing, say, I don't know much about Minecraft or say RTAs. I don't know anything about that. I don't know about what farming is you can do, but even first-person shooters, people are farming. I think, Kyle, you make a good point. People will quit if they save up viewers for Final Fantasy 7. But here's the thing. We're moving in the direction in which the companies are giving us guaranteed units. Personally, there's absolutely no reason for them not to give us cloud, right? If they gave away cloud, think about that. If they gave us everyone cloud, it's free, like they did with Titus. What's gonna hurt them? Nothing. Nothing's gonna hurt them. You know why? Because players who want more than cloud are still gonna spend more money. And even if you have cloud, even if you have Titus, you're still gonna have to spend, perhaps, get more visitors to finish building that unit. And I think people are gonna leave the game. People leave the game for whatever reasons, regardless of units, right? People are gonna leave the game regardless if farming was a thing, regardless of this and that. People quit just to quit. A lot of people quit things because they get bored. People quit because they get tired of something in the game. People quit because they want to play a new game, so they don't have time for multiple games. People quit for all kinds of reasons. So you guys are all right in the sense that there's no way we can maintain every single player that plays this game. But the hardcore players are never going to leave, most likely. And then the people who want certain things out of a game, they will come back and play. And therefore, at that point, maybe year 2, they need to implement things, perhaps, to maintain players. And even if you think about it, I don't know what the algorithm is that they use to maintain players. Is it they just want people to log in? Or do they want people to download? I mentioned in my video that we hit 7 million downloads, but we hit 6 million downloads months ago. So it took another half year for another full 1 million downloads, right? Whereas you have games out there that's hit like 100 million downloads and stuff like that. Now, obviously, most of it's probably because people are re-rolling. So they have to re-download, re-roll, re-download, re-roll. So, point of all this is, in order for this game to be one of those better games on the market, which they know they can do, because come on, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius has been out for 4 years, right? And that game, in my honest opinion, is gotten to the point where it's so power crept, that most players will probably have walked away from that game a long time ago. But they're still making enough money where they're still pushing. They're still probably getting an influx of new players because simply it bears the name Final Fantasy. And the gacha system is a very addictive system for many people. Unfortunately, maybe not in a great way. But ultimately, they need to fix little things here and there. They need to fix little things here and there. And it doesn't have to be drastic fixes. It just needs to be tiny fixes. For example, we all complain about the equipment system. And they fixed it, right? It's much easier. I don't think about it anymore. I don't dread crafting anymore. What I do dread is trying to build the actual item. One of the most obnoxious things in this game is you make me spend all this time crafting one item, and then I have to spend all this time doing RNG to try to get that one equipment stat to max. To me, that is more obnoxious than just simply crafting. And the thing is, I understand it. I understand why it's done. I may not enjoy it. I may not like it. But I understand why it's done. Because games like this need you to sit around and do something. Like people micromanaging their stash, people micromanaging their units is part of the fun. Like to me, that's part of the RPG experience. Managing your stash, managing your teams. Is there a reason why they created that way? Because like Square Enix RPGs, generally speaking, are pretty deep and it requires a lot of micromanaging. When you're trying to play 4, 5, 6, 7 accounts like some players out there do, I can see that being very tedious to try to manage all of those accounts, right, every single day. And yes, I think a lot of people have said that as well, Eileen, that Ellen, sorry, that crashing is a real legitimate issue. I don't disagree. I think anytime you play a game, crashing is very annoying, especially like, for example, when I'm trying to take down a new continent, and what happens is I'm sitting there trying to build this new team and my game crashes. It completely negated everything I just done for the last 10 minutes. That issue needs to be addressed. That issue needs to be fixed. Holy shit, Quack, how you doing, buddy? But yes, otherwise there is nothing else to do. And they make you pay for the equipment pass to leave better RNG levels. Yes. It is. I agree, Kyle. It is. It's kind of like punching us in the nuts while we're like revving and paying from somewhere else. But it's understandable though, because it is simply put, they're trying to find ways to squeeze money out of us. You don't have to have the best equipment in the game. I've said this a million billion times. For those of you who've seen me beat the other team in Guild Wars, I don't have everything maxed. I just have the vision cards maxed. Some of my equipment are not fully maxed, right? Obviously. Because we already established that it doesn't make huge difference if not everything is maxed. I get about 30 crashes a day on BlueStacks before even getting to start my auto farm. Really? Wow. But to be fair though, this is the way I look at it. The companies do not actually have to support oh my god, I can't think of the word. Emulators. The companies don't have to support emulators. And don't get me wrong, I'm not supporting the crashes. That's not what my intent here is. I'm not supporting that. I don't enjoy crashes either. What I'm saying is, it's not their duty to support emulators, right? I think it's up to the emulators to support it. I have most equipped maxed. I don't have them like all maxed per se. Like for example, like I have the stats that I really want maxed. The other stuff are not all maxed. I think the one I'm having the most trouble is the stupid ass platinum mace. I don't understand why, but it's one of the most annoying equipments in the game. And no, I'm not spending $8. Like, I haven't had too many crashes on my phone. Like, I'm using an iPhone 7. And I've been maybe getting like one crash every week. I haven't had many crashes. I would suggest start deleting some of your other stuff, maybe. I get 500 to 1,000 crashes a day while burning 36 large energy potions. Really? That sounds exaggerated, but yeah. If you're burning that many potions, you're probably farming like crazy. Getting crashes is bad for autoing, that's for sure. So, the topic at hand today seems like that the company needs to fix crashes. And it's not collaborations or farming or anything like that. Oh, I see. It's on Android. That does suck, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Todd. That essentially is not playable, right? If you crash that often, the game is not playable. Like, I noticed that when I manual something, for example, when I'm playing the brutal difficulty on my free-to-play account, and I'm sitting here clicking constantly, like getting my units to move around and things like that. Once I reach a certain number of clicks, I crash, and then I have to start over. So far, the average is I play maybe 2 or 3 brutals, and then I have to crash, and then I crash. You know, that sort of technical issues, you know, I think that could be easily fixed. I really don't have a problem with games crashing if they can fix it. What I do have a problem is the way the game plays, because that's harder to fix, seemingly. See? M1 saying that I play on an Android phone with 8 gigs of RAM. I pretty much never crash. I truly feel like those who are crashing a lot is because of memory. Because I deleted a bunch of stuff on my computer and I cleared up a little bit of memory. Maybe that could help. All right, Pedro, take care, man. Have a good night. Well, if crashing is a big issue for people, then make sure you guys send in tickets to them. I'm pretty sure they know. Yeah, I think if you can't play the game, then there's no even a reason to talk about in-game complaints, right? There's no even a reason to discuss issues that's pertaining to the in-game stuff. If we can solve the physical aspect, which is the crashing, then we can move on to a different topic of conversation. I do feel bad for you guys that are crashing so much. I guess you can say in a way I haven't really played that often, and I'm so used to the crash that I don't even think about it anymore. I kind of schedule myself that every 2 or 3 runs of a brutal on manual, I just crash. No problem. After this run, we'll farm books. That's funny, Todd. Were you bombarding them with... Because you just said, I sent tickets, and it told me to stop. That's funny, man. You just made my night right there. I gotta be honest, man. Today I was feeling so bad. I was feeling so bad today, man. Like, holy shit. Speaking of crashes, well, speaking of crashes, I just crashed. So anyway, so last night I fell asleep around 6 a.m. And then I woke up maybe around like 7 because my dog started to like be uncomfortable. So I took him out for a walk and then I fell asleep again for maybe a couple more hours. And then of course my fiance woke up and I fed them and I walked them and I was good. So then I went back to sleep. So essentially I slept almost all day, but my head just feels so bad. Just a terrible headache. Like, terrible headache. Just, you know, like when your sleep schedule is screwed, your body tells you, hey dude, don't mess with your body like that. If I sleep like 7 to 8 hours and I wake up naturally, it feels really good. I feel really refreshed. But when you get disrupted sleep, it doesn't feel very good. So hopefully tonight after my stream, I'm gonna do a little bit what I need to do, my maintenance, and then I think I'm gonna crash. Hopefully I'll wake up early tomorrow, early. You know, when I say wake up early, I mean like 8 or 9 or 10 in the morning. That's early for me. I'm gonna farm staff if you guys are okay with that. I'm gonna farm staff. I need more staff. So for me, I think trying to get to a schedule where I wake up at 8, 9, or 10 in the morning is perfect for me. Like anything past that, I don't feel good. Anything less than that, I don't feel good. Oh yeah, I guess the point of that was I was feeling pretty bad, but then I keep having these dreams. I keep dreaming that I'm fighting zombies. I keep dreaming that I'm making sushi. There's only a few recurring things in my dreams, right? I always dream that I'm making sushi. I'm always dreaming that I'm going to school, but I keep dreaming that I'm missing classes. And then I keep dreaming about playing basketball. Those 3 are always recurring dreams that I have. I was killing zombies Like this morning with my brother, like in my dream, we were in my old house back in when I used to live up north, and the dream was occurring in which the zombies were coming through the garage, but we set the garage to only having an entrance, like the actual garage door. And then so we were killing the zombies as they're coming through the door. Like I keep dreaming about making sushi. Like today before I woke up, I was dreaming I was making sushi. Like I was cutting fish, I was preparing for the sushi, and then I was getting all these tickets. I was dreaming I was having conversations with the servers about sushi pieces and things like that. I mean, it was... Oh, BlueStacks 5 is coming? Okay, great. Thank you, Ben. That'd be awesome. Does no one else need books? Come on, folks. I know y'all need books. Hey, Zena, how you doing? Yeah, because lately I've been watching a lot of... Okay, so I watched The Walking Dead. A long time ago, of course. So I recently watched The Walking Dead season 10. I picked up AMC free trial, and then I subsequently finished all the season 10, and then I canceled it, right? Because I just need to catch up. And the thing is, I think I have Spectrum, but I'm not sure because we don't get bills for my cable. We just get cable in my development. It goes with my HOA, right? We pay HOA quarterly, so we are not actually technically speaking billed for anything. We get internet and cable through our HOA. And the company is not even any of the big companies. So whenever you go and watch something on AMC, which is free by the way, you have to tell them your service provider, and I can't think of a service provider. So that's why I just got AMC Plus. And so anyways, I'm caught up on the Walking Dead. So I decided to go back and watch Walking Dead 1 through 8 again, because I watched 9 recently on Netflix. Then I wanted to watch 10, and then I went back and watched 1 through 8. And I must say, Walking Dead is a piece of crap show. It's really bad. It's so bad. But then it's like, I'm already invested, right? I spent all this time watching it. I gotta finish it. Too much sushi is bad. Did you know about the worms you can get from those? Oh, you need the more tokens? Sure, we can just run books for a little bit. Let's run books for maybe like 15 minutes ish, and then we can go farm some tokens. Zombies, the stress you feel of your current work. Yeah, maybe it is. So I need to see maybe a specialist on why I keep dreaming about basketball, I keep dreaming about sushi, and I keep dreaming about school. Those are the only thing I dream about constantly. Like, one of those will always be my dream once a week. You release a childhood dream of your life as an adult. Maybe. Well, it looks like M1 is diagnosing my... Alright, Quack, take care, man. Good seeing you. I think M1 is actually giving me a diagnosis. You have a great one too, man. Quack, maybe you'll come back to us one day, huh? If you guys want to farm more of the metals, I can farm metals. I don't have a problem with it. You're probably right. But everything is so vivid. Like, I'm shooting jump shots and I'm like making sushi. I'm cutting sushi. I can see the knife. I can see everything on the menu. Like, I can see the numbers people mark. I can see the faces of everyone. So anyways, I've been starting to watch the spin-off of The Walking Dead, which is Fear the Walking Dead. I gotta tell you, that is one bad show. It's so bad. It's like, it really does feel like a little kid wrote the storylines. And there's just so much inconsistencies. I don't know if you guys actually watch that stuff, but if you haven't started, I don't recommend you guys watching it. It's really bad. Yeah, I dream really vividly, and I think that's why I have an issue with watching. That's my issue with watching like horror movies. Like I have such vivid dreams and vivid imageries of things that I get scared pretty bad. Like I can't watch certain things that have just horrific imageries, you know, like it really stays in my brain for a very long time. And my mind likes to play tricks on me as well. Like I'm not fully afraid of the dark, but I'm still have fears in the dark. Like the only time I feel really secure is that if I have my dogs. I don't have a lot of fear if my dogs are next to me. Maybe there's some medications for that or something, because it can be pretty bad. It's pretty rough, man. Like it's kind of rough for me. Like I think I get stressed a lot because of that. So usually I avoid watching like horror movies, and like it's like I remember when the It came out, and my brother and my sister-in-law, they wanted to go see a movie because they were hanging out with me, you know, at my house. And they're like, "Hey man, let's go see It." I was like, "No, I don't want to see It." He's like, "Why not?" I was like, "Cause it's scary." He's like, "Dude, why are you being such a pussy?" You know, I'm like, I said, "No, it's not about me being that way. It's not something I enjoy." You know, it's like why are you making me go? You want me to go see something that I don't enjoy? You know, it's like it's one thing for me to sacrifice myself for the happiness of my family, but it's a different thing when you make me do something that is going to cause repercussions for me later on. You know, like I can't do it. Like, and the thing is, like, horror movies in general don't bother me. It's only certain types of horror movies that bothers me. Well, the thing is, Todd, like I don't get scared. Like it's not like every time I go to bed and I turn the light off, I get scared. Once my dogs are there, I'm like golden. I sleep I sleep so good sometimes, you know. It's like what it is like certain horror movies scare me, freak me out. Like like zombie movies, obviously I don't give a shit. Even like Texas Chainsaw stuff, like Friday the 13th. Even if they have like horrible, nasty looking imageries, right? You know, face deformed, guts everywhere. Nah, I don't flinch at all. Even like when people like jump out of like, even when people are like jumping out of like, you know, from a scene, you know, we all know what they are, right? You know, you see all of a sudden like they zoom in on something, and then as soon as they switch the camera angle, boom, something jumps out and it scares you, right? Like, it's the disturbing shit. Like, I don't scared of gore. I'm scared of like disturbing imageries, you know, like The Ring or The Grudge. Those things, those kind of freak me out a little bit, because some of those imageries are like, oh, they're just like, it's not very pleasant. You know, some people love it, right? Some people love that kind of stuff. Like, I don't get a kick out of it. Because one thing a lot of people have is faith. Right? They have faith, and so they have religious beliefs. And whether or not it's true or not, which I will never get into that topic, but let's just say if anything has to do with religion, could be realistic or could be real or is real or whatever the case is, what each of you individual persons believe, that could be legitimately scary, right? For example, if they're like demons or they're ghosts, that could be legitimately scary. And I think I said this before on one of my previous streams, but put it this way. And by the way, my friends have tried to scare me before. You know, like they would jump in and try to scare me. And my natural reflex is I throw punches. Like that's my natural reflex. If somebody's trying to startle me, I'm gonna throw a punch. It doesn't matter who it is. And so like I always told myself, if someone's trying to scare me, or if something is trying to scare me or whatever, or I have some kind of encounter of some sorts. Let's say it's a little girl, right? Holding a doll, all creepy looking and shit, fucked up hair, all dirty looking. And let's say they're trying to play a prank. Maybe a local news group or some shit playing a prank. What I'm gonna do is I'm not going to run. Here's the thing, I'm never gonna run, okay? I'm gonna encounter that certain being and I'm gonna try to beat the shit out of it, because the way I look at it is if I punch it and I connect and I knock that damn ghost onto the ground, then I know it's physical. I know I can be like Arnold. If it bleeds, I can kill it, right? And that's the truth. We're humans. We think that way. We're stupid. But the thing is, if I throw a punch and it goes through her face, okay? If my punch is physically being absorbed by this being, I know I'm dead. Running does nothing. The world has essentially ended for me. And technically speaking, I'm okay with it. Because if there are beings out there, there are ghosts out there, there are specters and demons and shit, I would definitely be a ghost if I'm dead. Like, I would 100% want to be a ghost. Because just to imagine the power you have as a ghost, man. Maybe I wouldn't want to be a demon or something. I think that's a little bit more fucked up, but that's my philosophy in life. People try to scare me, I will have to fight it. Maybe grab like a stick from the ground and swing at it, you know. Maybe I have like rocks and I'll throw at it or something. So since after I punched my friend out after he tried to scare me, none of my friends ever try to scare me again. And that's the way I look at it, right? Because I mean, if somebody's trying to scare you just by standing there, you know you have to do something. Because you know running is not going to do anything. Running is just probably like the worst way to handle the situation. So that's me. Like, that's why, like, when I have vivid dreams, I choose not to watch really scary stuff. Like lately, when I'm scrolling through Netflix or something, and they have like The Grudge, The Ring, or all those like Japanese horror movies, and I see, like, you know, they do the movie poster. They do the movie poster, or the thumbnail, if you will, and I'm just like staring at this fucking bitch. This fucking bitch has those fucked up eyes with the long hair, all dirty looking, right? With all like the bloodshot eyes and shit. I'm like, fuck. And that just triggers me, man. Like, it just triggers me to be scared. You know, when I see like zombies getting their head chopped off and people getting their guts ripped out or any of that shit, I don't even blink an eye because it doesn't bother me. Like, I mean, be honest, I see blood and I see stuff at work, you know? Like, I've seen dead people at work. I've seen like guts and I've seen like wounds. I've seen all kinds of stuff. So that stuff never bothers me. I'm not the type of person that faints when I see blood everywhere. However, you see the little fucking girl running around with her hair covering her face except one eye and just trying to scare you to death like a little ghost girl. Oh, lordy, I get fucked, man. I get super fucked. Psychologically, I just start like, not shake, but I get the fear, man. I get fear. Even when I watch like Exorcist, I wasn't scared, but the concept of it was kind of scary for me. What's going on, Ben? How you doing? Long time no see, Ben. How you doing, man? So anyways, I try to avoid those type of things, you know, like, but I never understood why. I think maybe the only thing I could think of me dreaming about school and keep cutting class, and it's a recurring dream, by the way. It comes back to me like once a month, is that I'm like failing because I keep cutting class, right? So every time I dream about school, it is always about me not passing high school. It's always about me skipping tons of classes and that I will have to repeat my high school years over and over. That's the same dream I have all the time. I think psychologically it's because I'm afraid of failure, you know? I'm afraid of having to repeat myself like over and over. And so I think that's always been the back of my mind all the time. My daughter had her birthday last Friday. Oh, well, awesome. Congratulations. Must be a good time when your kids are having birthdays. But I think the basketball, I'm not really sure why. I keep dreaming about basketball. I dream that I dunk all the time. I'm dreaming that I'm shooting 3-pointers over like NBA players' faces. I have that dream a lot playing basketball. And then, like I said, sushi making is always a recurring dream of mine every month. Sometimes once a week, I'm dreaming I'm making sushi. In fact, I even once had a dream where I fought Freddy Krueger. Okay? I was fighting his ass and he kicked me or he pushed me or something like that. This was years ago. And he kicked me out of a window and I can see myself falling and I can see that window getting smaller and smaller because I'm falling, right? Because I'm falling out of a building and I can see Freddy just standing there at the window staring at me. And I don't get scared. That doesn't bother me. I dream about fighting their ass all the time, you know. And then people always say, in a dream, if you fall and you hit the ground, you die. That's not true, because I've hit the ground. You know, that has happened, you know. And then the other dream I used to have a lot when I was a kid was, and then into actually high school and college, like I had it a lot. I don't know what it is. But I used to dream that I could just fly. Like, I used to just dream and fly. There was one dream I remember vividly. I was walking down the street and I missed a bus. I was trying to take a bus and I missed the bus. And I was like, well, I gotta get to where I need to get to. So I decided just to leap into the air and I just started flying. I think it was a front kick. Like, it was just a front kick. Like, you know how you just kick somebody? You just like front kick them. Like you see a lot of like, no, what was that movie? 300 when that guy front kicked that guy into the pits. Yeah, he just front kicked me, I think. But I tell you, like even in my dream, when I'm dreaming that I'm flying, like I can feel the air blowing in my face. I can dream I'm assuming this is the concept of me defying gravity, right? I can feel that I'm flying and I'm controlling myself. Yeah, it's weird that we can dream we can do extracurricular things or we're doing like superhuman things in our dreams. Yeah, fighting Freddy, flying like Superman, those are all good dreams. It didn't bother me I was fighting Freddy, I think. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, we think we have inner demons and stuff like that and we have to fight them. And Freddy essentially is a kind of an analogy to inner demons, right? I mean, to be fair, in the 80s, people got away with a lot of things in the 80s, in 90s, as far as offending people. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like today, where sometimes I catch myself when I stream, and sometimes when I'm making videos, I catch myself by not saying things that could be offensive to people. And honestly, I feel like I think society and people in general are getting weaker. You know, like we're being more sensitive in certain things, not everything, right? I mean, certain things obviously we should be fighting about, you know what I mean? Like certain things we need to see justice in. And while other things I don't think we need to look for justice. I think it's just because people are getting weaker, like in general. Like we're becoming more sensitive to issues that wasn't never been an issue in the 80s and 90s. But for some weird reason, everything's an issue. Like for example, I'll give you a thing. This is not necessarily politics, but it's something that's in mainstream media, which by the way is not something I enjoy either. But so apparently, what is that new movie? I think it's called Space Jam 2 or something. And I think they already recorded the movie. Now this is hearsay because this is someone told me this. This may not be a true or a fact, but this is something I heard recently. and it's has something to do with Space Jam. It has something to do with that character Pepe Le Pew from Looney Tunes. And someone stated, I think on social media, or maybe wrote an article or something, that that character perpetuates like rape culture or something like that. Because you know how Pepe Le Pew is always like chasing down the female skunk or something like that, and he's like always like forcing himself on the cat, and the cat's always running away. Or maybe it was a cat, right? I think it's a cat in the cartoons, but Pepe Le Pew is a skunk, and for somehow the cat always get like that black line or white line on her back, and so it looks like a skunk. So Pepe Le Pew is always confused, thinking that it's a female skunk. So he must go after her and chase her and try to woo her. And it's like, really, it's a cartoon that was made in the 1960s, whatever it is. And it's just fun. It's just a depiction of Pepe Le Pew trying to be chasing after a female. But some jackass or somebody is trying to say is like this. It's promoting rape culture and things like that. And seriously, by the way, if we're gonna talk about politics, rape culture is a legitimate thing in certain cultures. It is pretty fucked up, right? But it's not something I want to get into first and foremost. And then it's not something I condone, by the way, because obviously nobody in their rightful mind should be condoning shit like that. And it's like, really, some jackass is really gonna say that? That doesn't make any sense. And I think supposedly Warner Brothers actually removed all the scenes with Pepe Le Pew or something like that. I mean, come on, really? Like, that is fucked up. Like, you have to think, what is that teaching your kids? That's teaching some fucked up wrong ideologies, in my opinion. If little kids are not gonna think that way, you know what I mean? Little kids not gonna think in those terms. Little kids are gonna look at it as, most likely, that this guy, French skunk, is just having a good time, just like trying to woo that female, and the female just trying to run away, because the point is it's a cat, and Pepe Le Pew is a skunk because he smells. The cat is running away because he smells. At least that's how I depicted when I was a kid. Hell, when I'm an adult, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a fucking skunk chasing a cat. Of course the cat is gonna think the skunk is scared, right? We as adults, we should hold responsibilities for ourselves, first and foremost, and our family, right? And I think when there's fucked up adults out there that's perpetuating things that makes no sense, thank you, Alejandro, projected paranoia, that's fucked up. And that's why society's getting fucked up, is because we're perpetuating shit that doesn't exist. It's in people's minds, man. It's to me, that's personally, I like to draw the line on things like that. People can voice their opinions, right? They have the right to do so. I get that, especially in America. But when you're selling people some fucked up ideology and some fucked up thinking that isn't there, and you're trying to uncover something that isn't there, dude, this is not a high school book where we read it and then we decipher for ourselves. It's not open to interpretation. It's a fucking cartoon. It's not a social commentary or anything. But people make it into a social commentary. That's kind of messed up, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think in general, cultures across the nations are getting softer, man. Like, it's okay to be sensitive to certain issues, but not okay if you're trying to create something that, realistically speaking, doesn't exist. And the reason I'm talking about it more or less is kind of like how when we look at world divisions, right? Like, myself have been guilty of it, and others have been as well, where we're trying to find things there when there isn't there. And when you're like doing, as some people call it, witch hunting, or you're grabbing pitchforks and you're grabbing things and you're fighting a fight that doesn't really need to be fought, then you're just perpetuating more issues than there really is issues. And I think what society is doing in general is that's what we're doing. We're perpetuating more problems when we can't even take care of normal issues. You know what I mean? Like, we need to solve normal issues instead of trying to fight, issues that doesn't exist. We're fighting shit that people are making up. And I think that's kind of fucked up. I think that's really fucked up. And that's kind of like That's my public service announcement of the day, guys. I'm sorry. I know I'm pretty cringy when it comes to shit like that. Like, I say some cringy things, perhaps. But I feel like I'm pretty strong and firm on the idea that people shouldn't be making stuff up, man. Like, it doesn't make sense, dude. Just leave it alone. And I can go on and on. You know, you hear this all the time. People picking out certain things that's been around for a long time. If you just ignore it and don't think about it, it doesn't bother anybody. But there's someone out there, they're trying to carve new things out of old things that's been existing for a long time. Listen, by the way, when people are making shit up in the 60s and 70s, they don't think about certain things, right? They're not thinking about social commentaries and things like that. It's not like today. What's going on, OG? Anyways, we could talk about other things as well now, but generally speaking, when I do my stream, my stories and my thing of looking at things, they kind of start flowing all over the place. But most of the time it's because I'm on a topic and it somehow directs itself to a different topic that I try to make a connection with. The common one is thinking someone is perverted for a perverted interpretation. Yeah, that's true. Cause like, I mean, when I'm at work, I have to do like these what do you call these continuing education, right? I have to do these continuing education about like sexual harassment and those type of things. And just because someone makes a comment, you know, it's deemed inappropriate, right? Don't you hate it when you're wearing like those shorts and they have those what do you call it, those strings, and then one of the strings get caught up inside of the shorts, and so you're left with one long string, and then your other string is like completely disappeared into that little hole that it's supposed to come out of? So now you're stuck with one big string, and it's for somehow you gotta find around your waist to get the other end of your second string to come out of that little hole. I'm sure that's happened to a lot of you out there. But I hate that. I can't stand that. I wish I could invent something that prevents that from happening, huh? That would be $1 million idea right there. Anyway, so I'm watching these videos. You know, I have to read these corny ass training videos like the one from The Office. Do you guys remember that episode where they were watching like what was that video? They're watching like these sensitive issues about like these two guys. They're like, hey, we have a bet, and it's like a redhead. They're like, we're just wondering if your hair matches, you know, your other hair down there or some shit like that. It's like, what the fuck, man? And then I think that guy, Darren or Daryl, like stands up like, hey, I know that girl. That's that girl. That's that girl that my friend banged or something like that. Or no, Daryl said he banged her or something. You know, it just shows that how silly it is to show people those type of videos, because all it really does is incite more shitty thinking, right? And of course, it's Michael Scott from The Office. I mean, this guy has no filter. And I'm sitting here watching these example videos, and you know, they make you answer questions like, is this inappropriate? What's inappropriate about, you know, this video and things like that. And listen, I get it. I don't make stupid comments because literally 99% of the people I work with are females. I think I'm actually the only male nurse in my entire like division, my entire floor, my entire whatever. I'm the only male nurse. Everyone else is female. So most of the time I don't say anything that like in a conversation. I just go with the flow. Whatever it is that they say, I just go with it. I don't add any more to it or try to create more than unnecessary, you know? Because, you know, you never know, like when some people might take something you say out of content or something like that. But I'm very outspoken as a person. It's just, I generally speaking choose my battles wisely. Sometimes not always the best. Sometimes I definitely fail at that, I do. But for the most part, I try not to offend people. I don't offend, especially something that do with like issues they talk about. And this is the thing, right? It gets to the point where, it gets to the point where my colleagues just say whatever the fuck is on their mind. Like, I remember this one female nurse, she was like saying things like, oh, you know, my period, la 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 la. And then I haven't had sex in a long time. This is the first time I'm having sex with this guy. And I'm sitting here, mind you, I'm sitting here playing on my iPhone. I'm just staring. I'm not picking up my head. I'm just staring at my phone, playing my games because it's downtime. I'm just like, and of course they decide like, oh, okay. I'm sure you heard of all this stuff. Don't mind us. Just ignore us. And I'm thinking to myself, that's definitely inappropriate conversation. You're having an inappropriate conversation, but is it okay that you're having an inappropriate conversation while I'm sitting here? Because we all know if I said any of those things, I'm gonna be sent to the damn office to have a conversation with my manager, you know? So yes, there should be double standards. We all know there isn't, and it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. I accept it because I chose that line of field, you know? But I guess in many ways they treat me like a brother, you know what I mean? Like, you get to the point where you're working with the people for a number of years, they kind of treat you like a brother, right? Kyle asks, are you hyped for the live stream tomorrow, Nash Taters? I don't want to say the word hyped. I don't think I'm hyped. It's very hard for me to say I'm hyped or anything, you know? Like, maybe you asked me the same question 10 years ago, I'll be super hyped. But now that I'm at my middle age, I don't really get hyped about anything anymore. Like, when they announced that Coming to America Part 2, or I should say Coming to America, was coming out, I was excited. I was happy, but I wouldn't say I'm hyped. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm a little bit. I'm having some anticipation with the stream tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get to see some nice announcements. And by the way, this is inside source. They potentially could be announcing a brand new unit coming to global. Now, don't take my word for it. This is hearsay. But this is supposedly from an inside source. I want to go ahead and venture and say, could it be you are Zangief? Could it be you are Zangief were being announced on tomorrow's stream? That's coming to global, or is coming to global. Not going to be coming to global, like literally is coming to global. Because remember we did that popularity thing, you guys, long time ago? We did the poll. And we all know who the winner is, right? So supposedly inside sources has told me that we're going to be expecting that unit to be coming. So, well, the reason I say Zangief is because I want to use like code words, see if you guys can figure it out. You guys should be able to figure it out. Zangief. Think of a character in this game that getting a UR treatment that is similar to the character Zangief from Street Fighter. I think after this run, I'm gonna switch back to farming some tokens if you guys are okay with it. We'll farm 15 minutes and then we'll call it a night because I'm gonna be honest, I'm trying to go to bed early tonight. What? Yeah, I think so. I think it's a possibility that could be released tomorrow. I think it's gonna be UR Zazan. Because remember, that was the popularity contest, right? Whatever. To Dr. Diggs, not my fault character, huh? Well, that's what he says. I don't know if he's the one that incited. Oh, you think Raldor is Zangief? No, I still think Zazan is Zangief. And we're gonna farm the Brutal because it's fairly easy. So if you guys wanna come on in, we'll farm 15 minutes of this. JP voted for Glaciala, but they haven't received new versions yet. Yeah, that's okay, right? JP has gotten so many like 100 units, 100 cost units. They need to slow down. Did he tell everybody to go vote for Zazan? Because I said it too. I was like, I'd rather have Zazan. I don't want to see other characters with UR treatment. I want to see Zazan get the UR treatment. He's the only one with normal under his tag. But I don't know. I don't know about all that. I mean, I've heard of that concept, but I mean, don't get me wrong. If he wants to take credit for that, then good for him. To me, it doesn't make any difference. Let's hope that's the case. Let's hope we are getting UR Zazan, because personally, I would like to see a UR version of him. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, because realistically speaking, we just need like 2 or 3 arithmeticians. Plus, if you need that to be cleared, Mark, that's no problem, man. Like, we never worry about that on my stream. Like, on my stream, we try to get people to get their stuff done. Like, if you die, right? It's not a big deal. It's like you don't lose anything if you're dead. But this stage is not that hard when you have a few arithmeticians killing these things in numbers. Yeah, I'm not sure if Mark just needs the actual farm, or does he need just the 3 quests. So, but I'm only farming 15 minutes anyway, so it's not a very long time. And that's unfortunately the problem with this game, right? I can't interact with every viewer. I wish I could. Like, I know some people, like, some people implement that thing where you guys can vote on things during stream with like Nightbot and everything. I haven't even turned on Nightbot. Final Fantasy 9, huh? I don't know. I'm not sure if Final Fantasy 9 characters are as popular as some of the other ones. I mean, Tactics 1, of course. 4. Those are, I would probably say, fairly popular. What the? Somebody left already. I don't know why you left. Why did you leave? You didn't have to leave. Okay, Todd, if someone left, so if you want to join in now, you're more than welcome to. I don't know if 9's coming, to be honest. Unless you know inside source that 9 is coming. Because I don't think 9 is as popular as the other ones. Like, for me anyways, I like 9 because like 9 went back to the old school days, right? You got the casters, you got the VV who looks exactly like what a black mage looks like. Okay, Adam, take care, man. It's cool, Mark. Todd is coming. He wanted to do this. We can give him a minute or so to get in. Alright, I'll launch one round. It's like 7 for sure, I feel like. And 8. 8 probably as well, because Squall has been very popular, I believe, especially in the United States, I feel like. And then 9, yeah, I think 9 has Zidane, yeah. He's that one weird knight looking thing. He's not like a knight with a big ass head. Like, I think 9, I just don't know if 9 will ever get made. I had a feeling 10 was gonna get made. I just didn't think 10 would fit into the 1-year anniversary one, but a lot of people love Yuna though. A lot of people love Yuna and Titus, so. OG Monkey Thief. So, if 9 comes, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not like crossing my fingers for it. One thing the company will always rely on will be Final Fantasy Tactics. More and more Final Fantasy Tactics. No one ever complains about Final Fantasy Tactics, I think. Cause like even 4, right? Like it's like if I never summoned 4, I wouldn't cry about it. But for some reason, I fell into that idea that I needed to get him. Oh, nice. That's automatic. I'm not sure if you're manualing or you actually autoing, but Final Fantasy 12 just celebrated 15th anniversary. Yeah, that would have been a great celebration if they did it on here. Like I said, personally, I would like to see 12. I like the 12 design. I will always like to see Chrono Trigger. But Chrono Trigger is like, it's like in development hell or something, like people call it that because people say the rights to it has been passed around quite a bit in Japan. Might be hard to do. Like even if they did something like Chrono Cross or like Legend of Mana or Saga Frontier, right? Saga Frontier has I guess Saga Frontier does have its own game now though, so. But collaboration wise, wouldn't be a bad idea. Like I'll take any collaboration as long as the characters are interesting. Like I want to see interesting units. I would like to see interesting looking units. Like Nivlu is very interesting looking, right? She's very like cyberpunk. She's kind of like heavy metal, like you know that type of design, like very very cool looking. And I think I'm not sure if they're sister or brother or whatever, or they're from the same clan or something. But Garble and Elsarel, whatever, they look very unique. Right? They look very different than your cookie cutter characters that we've seen so far. Now you have your soldiers, you have your black mage, white mage, red mage, all that stuff. But the Energist is obviously is a new class. It looks very cool. It's kind of like a hybrid of a monk and a caster. So to me, I think that's a really cool design. So as long as they keep giving us something, even if it's collaboration, just something that's cool, and maybe try to give us like units that are not as popular. Like I always like to see units that are not as popular, but make them powerful enough that it attracts people to summon in this game. That's what I like to see. I'm so tired of just you giving me the same unit that's from mainstream games, and everyone says I must have it because I must have it. And while that supports my nostalgia factor idea, and that supports like must have on your team because you're reliving your childhood, whatever, you know, you're re-engaging yourself with those units. Like I want to see units that are not as popular but make them more powerful than say the characters were popular. I guess one can make that statement with say Titus versus Auron, right? Auron looks like he's like more powerful than Titus, but sorry folks, give me 1 second to recharge here. I just described Dwayne. That's true. Is Lara Croft being announced? Is she finalized? Because that's all I have been hearing lately is about Lara Croft. I guess she will be a dual gunner. I guess Lara Croft will be a dual gunner. Actually, that was going to be my Friday Free Thinking video today, but I decided to shift that to next week. But yeah, we can just sit here and like name all the different collaborations that we want to dream about. Like, would you guys want to see a, say, Masters of the Universe He-Man collaboration? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if that came out of nowhere? How excited people would be. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. It'll say He-Man, and then the job will be the most powerful man in the universe. Check this out. If they actually ever did Masters of the Universe, okay, let's just, for example, say if they did do that. He-Man, you will have to summon, will not be He-Man. It will be Prince Adam. Okay? And then what you have to do is you have to pull out your sword in the middle of combat and say, I have the power. And then he turns into He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. And then you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna one-shot people in the face. He's gonna punch people in the face, and he has slash attack because he will have slash attack and punching power. Like, I would love to have, say, Skeletor. Okay, I will not lie. If they actually did He-Man Masters of the Universe, we'll get to see Skeletor, and you can summon for him. Hey, we can all dream about our own fantasy collaboration. Fate and War of the Visions. You could definitely do Fate. I don't think Fate would be a bad thing. That would be kind of tough, Todd, because Genshin is a Chinese company. I don't foresee either company reaching out to the other company. Pretty sure we're gonna fight Skeletor in game. Yeah, that's true. We have to fight Skeletor. Damn it. But isn't there talks that the what was that? What was that guy's name from Final Fantasy IV? He's supposed to be coming. iMail says, I would like to see a glass cannon with 99999 attack but 1 HP. Well, the thing is, if you have a glass cannon that's 99999 attack power but 1 HP, essentially it just one-shots things, right? But there's so many ways to cheat that in this game. That would be overpowered. You give them that resurrection thing. Gobaz, that's right. Gobaz, yeah. Someone said to me that Gobaz was in development to be released the next time Final Fantasy IV will come back. I don't know. Hearsay is just that, hearsay. Anything that's officially confirmed will be something that makes sense. I guess tomorrow's stream we're gonna figure out Tomb Raider is coming, right? Someone like 180 just said that Tomb Raider is coming, so. I don't know, honestly though, how I would feel about Tomb Raider being the collaboration. It just, how does that fit in? Like, I would love to see Gobaz and Kane, because Gobaz is gross, man. He does a lot of nasty dark stuff. I mean, obviously Skeletor will be dark. Fina doesn't get a lot of love. Fina would be a fun character. I would not be interested in Tomb Raider either, even if she's like the most OP unit in the game. And you know the sad part is they're not gonna design her any different. All they're gonna do is have her stand like this, just like all the dual gunners in this game, and all they're gonna do is put a skin over it. That seems not very interesting to me. But we are less than 24 hours away from the stream, so. Yeah, so maybe what I'll do is I'll record me watching it by myself, and then I'll just cut and paste it into a reaction video for Sunday morning. Either way, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be surprised one way or another, either good or bad, right? It doesn't really make any difference to me. I think it was last week we talked about how OP it would be if there's a unit in the game that can do all kinds of debuffs. Like Final Fantasy Tactics did have the armor destroying, accessory destroying, and weapon destroying mechanic. But if they didn't implement that with Final Fantasy Tactics characters, I can't really imagine them implementing destroying armor stuff. But stripping armor is a different beast altogether. But if they actually strip the armor, but not necessarily make me put the armor back on after a fight, and all it really does is it decreases the stats from your character that you're fighting against, then that makes a lot of sense. And that would definitely seem very interesting to me. Because then you will have to be very careful in fighting that specific unit on your tanks, right? Because then Warrior Light will be very easily exposed once he loses his armor. And then of course they can just continue that with like say strip vision cards or shut down your espers. You know, that can open up a whole can of worms. That can open up a lot of different stuff, can it? Actually, that will make some good fighting, because if you can strip armor, or you can like just get rid of their espers, you're essentially getting rid of a lot of resistance. Then that can be pretty powerful. And then subsequently you can release classes that prevents that from happening, like prevent strips, prevent disruption of armor, and things like that. It kind of like this, like like I said before, like it reminds me of chess, right? You can have so many designs to your pieces in your chessboard to have different effects. Like it's like Dungeons and Dragons is like your RPG things, you know, all that stuff. It'll make very interesting combat. There's definitely a lot of room to increase more stuff to this game. Okay, 3 more runs, okay? 3 more runs. Alright, looks like someone left us. So we'll run 3 more times with this team. Yeah, it will be interesting to have the surprises tomorrow. Thanks, Mark, for stopping by. So someone asked something about Square Enix connection with Tomb Raider. I think Square Enix has like rights to Tomb Raider for a little bit, something like that. Because wasn't the most recent Tomb Raider game done by Square Enix on the consoles? I think it was done by Square Enix, if I remember correctly. So there's the connection for that. Dang, Todd, that's a lot of damage. What was that? 17, 17, 18? What is that? 17, 17, that's 34 plus 18, that's 51. Damn, that's 5k damage. On an instant limit break attack. Sakura is kind of like a really good... Sakura is like a really good hybrid between an arithmetician and a straight up caster. Hey, wait a second. What staff are you? What staff is that? What staff are you using on your character? How come that one looks different than any other staff that I've seen? The LB is kind of good. It is. She's like the updated version of Mediana. I think people might get upset at me. What's 9:30? Are you talking about the stream? Oh, it's Shell TMR. Yeah, I looked at that today too. It looks pretty good. Okay, I crashed. So I think that's it for me, folks. Looks like I crashed. I'm not gonna bother logging back in. I want to thank everybody for coming, and I want to thank everybody for continuing support of this channel. As I mentioned in my stream earlier, I had to make some schedule adjustments this week, especially because of the stream coming up on Saturday. I want to make sure I do a little bit more coverage on that and having maybe a video in connections with the stream. That's why I didn't do any videos on Thursday or today, actually. And personally, I'm okay with it. And I think people are understanding that that's what I've been doing. So I appreciate a lot of you guys coming in today who are brand new faces. I appreciate you guys coming. And of course, always, I appreciate folks that have been supporting my streams and my channel since the beginning, or even for many months. So I hope you guys have a good day. I will see you guys tomorrow, most likely. I'll watch the live stream myself. I don't think I need to do anything while it's live. So, and then we can discuss it most likely on Sunday. So otherwise, if you're not involved in any of that stuff, have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday if you're not care too much about what's going on with that. But other than that, until next time, take care of yourself, all your loved ones. Nash Taters out of here. Peace out.